With the latest title update reintroducing the Zoh Shia in the high rank difficulty, new details surrounding the ancient construct have been revealed as we deal with the returning threat in the Forbidden Lands. From dialogue between characters, material info, as well as equipment details, there's quite a lot to unpack regarding the Zoh Shia, so in today's video, we're gonna focus on the new details we learned about this ancient construct, as well as info on other elements of the series lore that relates to the ancient weapon. The first part we're going to focus on is not the Zoh Shia itself, but rather one of the characters related to the construct, the Allharken. During our adventures across the Forbidden Lands, the Allharken played a role in educating the characters about the history of the world. According to the Allharken herself, while she didn't fully experience the downfall of Wyveria, she's able to hear the whispers of history which provides her details of historic events. When the Zoh Shia began to stir once again, it was the Allharken who began to hear the stirrings of life that indicated the return of the ancient construct. What's fascinating here is that the Allharken now demonstrates a supernatural sense that allowed her to detect the life of the ancient weapon, further showcasing how certain Wyverians within the series have unique abilities not seen on others. The last time we saw something similar with Wyverians demonstrating supernatural abilities was back in Kamura Village, with Hinoa and Binoto capable of resonating with the serpent dragons, thus becoming the voices of the elder dragons. With the Allharken's years of experience throughout her life, it's possible that she too has a unique ability that allows her to sense life energy regardless if it's natural or artificial, thus allowing her to sense the threat of the Zoh Shia once more. This simply expands on the series lore on how certain Wyverians have specialized abilities not seen on others, which makes it truly fascinating because it's not gonna be every single Wyverian we discover that has these kinds of abilities. It's only gonna be certain individuals. Next up, let's talk about the Zoh Shia itself and how the construct returned. Unlike previous titles where we see certain monsters return without full explanation, Wilds actually explains how the Zoh Shia is capable of returning indefinitely. According to Olivia, what the Allharken detected was budding cocoons that began sprouting within the Dragon Torch Shrine.
Had that area sealed off, but the Allharken has given us a troubling report.
Yes, faint whispers began to reach my ears. At first, I could not identify them. But now, the sensations are keen, the stirrings of life.
You don't mean Zoh Shia?
Unfortunately, we've discovered multiple budding cocoons on site. We removed many of the small ones, but it seems to have had no effect on the majority.
Despite their best efforts to eliminate them, the cocoons continued to grow, and eventually one of them began to propagate into a fully grown Zoh Shia. This indicates that much like certain elder dragons, Zoh Shia is capable of fully regenerating itself even after being destroyed, so long as a small part of it still exists. We already know from before that the construct is capable of self-recovery, as we see the construct repeatedly restoring itself to its angelic form despite breaking its parts. However, this new revelation shows that the ancient weapon doesn't just heal itself, it's fully capable of reviving itself from death, demonstrating just how powerful the Zoh Shia is altogether. Based on both Eric and Werner's dialogues, so long as a small piece of the Zoh Shia remains and is fed with energy from the Dragon Torch, the weapon is effectively indestructible, which is why it continues to show its presence even after defeating it.
Based on the information we have, my best guess is that it can self-propagate through something akin to asexual reproduction.
So, if some of it somehow survives, even a little piece, it could become another adult?
That's if it's supplied with energy. Wyveria's final line of defense is nothing to sniff at.
In terms of other creatures capable of such feat, only 2 monsters have been recorded so far with extremely similar feats. The first is the Nergigante, which reproduces asexually by imbuing its shed spike with immense bioenergy, thus allowing it to propagate and give birth to another extinction dragon. The other is the red dragon, Safijiva, which is theorized to reproduce asexually by absorbing insurmountable amounts of bioenergy and concentrating it into the sapphire of the Emperor, which, if distributed to regions where energy is aplenty, can give birth to the Emperor of Elders, Xeno'jiva. Since the Zoh Shia was created as a weapon equal in power to Elder Dragons, it's possible that the origin of its regenerative abilities are either Nergigante or Safi'jiiva, given that both monsters are capable of healing themselves and self-propagating. Personally, I think the likely candidate for being part of Zoh Shia is Safi'jiiva, and this is mainly due to how the construct is capable of absorbing raw energy in a very similar manner to the Red Dragon. So now that we've covered how the ancient weapon is ever present, let's quickly look into other aspects of the weapon. In my previous video covering ancient history and the Zoh Shia, I spoke about how the weapon may have caused the downfall of the ancient civilization indirectly as opposed to purposely doing it. Due to the construct being created when war was threatening Wyveria, the ancients created the Zoh Shia to act as their savior. However, at the same time, there was potential that the ancient Wyverians knew their equal dragon weapon may cause calamity and bring them to ruin. Despite the risk of total annihilation, the ancients still built their ultimate weapon so that it may act as their most powerful guardian when time came. Based on details from the luminous equipment forged from Zoh Shia materials, it seems as though the construct itself truly acted as a defender of the ancients. However, due to the construct being created with what is likely materials from a black dragon, the construct is also suppressing its destructive tendencies. Whilst we don't know the full details of what occurred over a millennia ago, the text from the luminous equipment hints that the Zoh Shia was originally a benevolent being. However, during times of conflict, it was eventually unable to suppress its destructive tendencies, and in time, it destroyed the supreme capital of Wyveria altogether. That said, whether the Zoh Shia destroyed the ancients directly or indirectly is currently unknown. But the fact that the ancients likely knew that its powers could cause their downfall may hint that the Zoh Shia's destructive behavior were taken into account when they created the construct. It's possible that they allowed the weapon to become destructive despite the circumstances in order to destroy Wyveria's adversaries. Or it may be possible that the weapon simply went out of control and succumbed to its black dragon nature and annihilated the ancients without reason. Hopefully more details will be revealed regarding this part of ancient history to determine the truth behind the Zoh Shia's actions. Finally, let's take a look at some of the materials found within the Zoh Shia. First of all, let's look at the Black Ember Mass. This small piece of the Zoh Shia is said to pulse within the construct with alien-like qualities, indicating the mysterious properties of the mass. Given that the Zoh Shia is covered with black oozing mass that allows it to rebuild itself, this mass is likely what gives the construct its resemblance to the black dragons of legend. If this is the case, then the Black Ember Mass may likely be the amalgamation of black dragon materials used to create the ancient weapon, thus giving the Zoh Shia its powers. A small piece of this mass, fed with energy from the Dragon Torch, is likely what allows the Zoh Shia to revive itself indefinitely. With the Black Ember Mass giving the ancient weapon its powers, then perhaps its destructive nature may be influenced by the rare Faux White Gleam Orb. According to what is observed within this material, the orb is said to have something wriggling inside its elaborate design, indicating that there may be a presence within it. If this is the case, then perhaps the nature of the ancient weapon may be influenced by whatever presence is sealed within the inorganic material. No one truly knows what is wriggling deep within this ancient orb, but given everything we've learned so far about the ancient weapon, it's anything but normal. And that, everyone, is everything new we've learned so far about the Zoh Shia, the ultimate weapon of Wyveria. With how everything has progressed so far regarding the lore of the series, Wilds continues to provide us with details surrounding events within ancient history. After learning more about the Zoh Shia, as well as certain characters involved with the construct, I'm hoping that Wilds continues to unveil more about ancient history as we continue our adventures across the Forbidden Lands in future title updates as well as the expansion. With all that being said, what do you think about the Zoh Shia and all the information we've learned here today? Do let us know your thoughts and opinions regarding the recent events that have unfolded within Monster Hunter Wilds. And as always, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider hitting the like on the video itself, leaving a comment down below and subscribing to the channel so you can go ahead and catch up on any other content that I might be doing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.